Time doesn't start till I start.
That's messy in the room.
We're gonna do this part, I forgot. Just gotta see the cards. You see them?
Back a little bit and up. Alright, forward a little bit. Okay.
Go ahead. Okay.
Several years ago, my father was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And when he got that diagnosis, I did a lot of research because I had heard that it could be caused by diet, and I wanted to make sure that I was taking care of myself. So I did a lot of reading, and I read up things with lots of big words like low glycemic index foods and carbohydrates, and how both of those blood sugar gets affected by the carbohydrates and how it can be bad for the body. So I figured I would try a low carb diet. And for the most part it was good, but I would start craving carbs and fall off the wagon. Tried several variations, I just couldn't do it, and it was always pasta. Pasta was my downfall. I had to have it sometimes. So I had finally just decided that I would not be able to do the low carb lifestyle and would have to try to find something else and just watch my health, until recently when I found a low carb pasta that actually tastes pretty good. And I realized that it's possible to have pasta and follow a low carb diet or a diabetes friendly diet, as long as you're willing to take a little bit of effort at home. But before we get to that, let's talk about why pasta is considered bad. So pasta is often on the naughty list because of the effect that it has on your blood sugar when you're diabetic. The typical serving of pasta is about 2 grams. It's a circle about that big around dry. And in 2 grams of your average pasta, there's 39 grams of carbs. There's only 4 grams of fiber, but there's 2 grams of sugar. And with the sugar and the carbs, that tends to be what causes diabetics' blood sugar to spike. And if you're on a low carb diet, obviously that's way more carbs than you want. But it's not just the pasta that's the problem. Most people think pasta, they think spaghetti. When they think spaghetti, they think a red sauce. Tomatoes, it's got to be healthy, right? But if you buy a jarred sauce like a ragu or one of those, an average serving is about a half a cup. And in a half a cup of ragu spaghetti sauce, there's 13 grams of carbs, 2 grams of fiber, and then 9 grams of sugar. So in a couple ounces of pasta and half a cup of red sauce bought at the store, you're looking at well over 45 grams of carbs and over 15 grams of sugar just in your meal, and you think you're being healthy. So, how do we improve on those numbers? How do we get the carbs down? How do we get the sugar down and still have it actually taste like good food, like a good pasta? The trick is to prepare it at home. But the first part is, I found this product here called Dreamfields, and what it is it's a pasta designed for diabetics, people that have to watch their blood sugar. And for those like me who are just doing a low carb diet, it's actually pretty cool. They don't get into the science on the label, but they do say that they figured out a way to bind most of the carbs together so that they cannot be processed by the human body. So it just basically exits your body as waste. So in the same 2-ounce serving, there's only 5 grams of carbs compared to 38. It's got 5 grams of fiber, which helps you feel full and is good for your system, and only 1 gram of sugar. So you're saying, Chris, great, you got a pasta, it's healthy, cool. I don't like to cook. What do I do for sauce? Well, actually, a good, tasty homemade red sauce is as simple as slice, chop, saute, and simmer. So in our house, the sauce that we make, we use what's called kitchen-ready tomatoes. This brand is Pastene. We use this for the base, and it's pretty simple. This only has 4 grams of sugar, 4 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of fiber in it. So it's compared to like the ragu we were talking about, it's still pretty healthy. It's got a low impact on your blood sugar. So in our house, in the McGuire house, the sauce that we make, it starts out with a couple of cloves of garlic and about a half of a small to medium onion, maybe a baseball-sized onion. So you slice the garlic up thin, you throw it in a saute pot. You chop your onion up till it's about 1/4 inch on the side, cubes. You throw that in, add a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Now if you're just doing a basic red sauce, you let that cook up and you're good. But if you want a meat sauce, because you like a meaty sauce or you just want a little bit more flavor and taste, then at the same time you would add your meat. And ground beef or ground pork adds the most flavor, but if you don't like meat, you can do poultry, ground turkey, ground chicken. Add your meat, heat it up, saute it so that the onions and the garlic get nice and translucent and the meat is browned. Once you've done that, then you're going to go ahead and open your 2 cans of tomatoes, add your tomatoes to it, and give it a good stir. Turn the heat up. When it starts to simmer, you turn the heat down a little bit, go ahead and give it another stir again, and at this point, we're going to add all the seasonings. And the seasonings aren't adding anything to it but flavor. There's no carbohydrates, there's no sugar, none of that stuff. It's just simple flavor. So when you add the seasonings in, you're going to start and you're going to use a tablespoon of basil, a tablespoon of oregano, 2 whole bay leaves, and then we use kosher salt and fresh ground black pepper to taste, which tends to be about 1/2 teaspoon, but I don't think we've ever actually measured it. So you add all your seasonings, give it a good stir again, and it's simmering, and then a trick my wife uses is we leave the 1 spoon in the pot. Put the lid on it, and you're going to let it simmer and cook down. Now her grandmother says the wooden spoon adds flavor, but the other thing it does is it kind of leaves a vent there on that lid so that it's not popping up and down as it starts to build up heat and pressure. So while your sauce is simmering, if you want a thinner sauce, then you're not going to simmer it as long. But if you want a real thick sauce, a nice thick sauce that holds together well, you'll let it cook down for a while. So when you get ready, while your sauce is simmering, you're going to go ahead and make your pasta. And it's easy. Anybody can make pasta. My 15-year-old son can make pasta. You just follow the directions in the box. For the Dreamfields, it says to take 4 quarts of water, bring it to a boil, add the whole box of pasta, let it boil for 9 minutes, and you're done. If you don't, that will give you kind of a limp, almost an overcooked pasta in how we like it. We tend to like ours al dente, which is kind of almost not chewy, but it's a little firmer and it holds up better. So it tastes better and gives the dish a little bit more fullness, I guess. So you want to cook it a little bit less than 9 minutes, usually like 6 to 7, and just kind of taste it. Drain the pasta, add it to your serving bowl, and you're pretty much done. You just gotta wait for the sauce to cook down to the consistency you like. And the last step is the best part. You get to enjoy a healthy, delicious pasta dish that, if you're diabetic, your blood sugar isn't going to be affected. And if you are like us and trying to do a low-carb diet, you still get all the benefits of a high-fiber pasta that helps you feel full and is good for your system, but it's also a delicious homemade sauce, and you have controlled all the ingredients. So you have decided that there's no extra sugar, that there's no preservatives or any of the stuff that a lot of people don't like these days. So kind of what did we talk about tonight? Well, we learned that if you want to follow a low-carb lifestyle, or if you are diabetic or had diabetes runs in your family, at a bare minimum, you don't have to stop eating pasta. You can use something like the Dreamfields. That's a low-carb pasta. It's got a good flavor. Make your own sauce at home. It's real easy. And you serve your family a healthy and delicious dish.
Okay.